So I'm with Tanisha, and Tanisha, tell us a little bit about your channel and kind of what you're trying to do here.
Oh man, so okay, I bought a plot of land after feeling, some heavy fear for a long time, and the fear was based on what I realize now, what other people were saying about it. And you go by the movies that you've seen and all the different videos you've seen online of people struggling out here in the desert. So you kind of just put two and two together. But one day I was just scrolling through, and I think I was on like landwatch.com or something similar. And something just said, just buy the land. Like, what are you waiting on? So I just clicked buy now, impulse bought it. And I was like, well, at least I have 30 days to change my mind if I need it, Yeah. And I didn't change my mind. I actually decided to go ahead and go through with it. So it's 2.5 acres out in the Arizona desert. And I'm sort of in the northeast area where things are primarily flat, but there's still some really cool mountains in the background. And it's a nice scenery. The most important thing to me was, whether I was in a flood zone or not.
Yeah,
and,
that's a concern for a lot of people.
It really is. Yeah, it was my biggest concern just because I've seen some videos online.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. So you kind of moved all the way across the country, pretty much, and you landed in Arizona.
Yeah, so I'm born and raised in Florida.
Yeah.
And I got my van and I left after getting a divorce, and I left with my cat, Spaz. Unfortunately, Spaz is no longer with us, but I do have another cat named Butters, who I have. But so I left Florida. I went straight to California to go to this Conscious Life Expo, which is like a spiritual convention.
Okay.
And then I went from there down through, I went straight to New Mexico, stayed there for a couple months, and then ended up in Alabama for 6 months. And then I went back over here to
Where in New
Arizona.
Mexico were you?
Truth or Consequences.
Oh, I know where it is.
Yep.
Yeah, down south. That's the southern part. Yeah.
Exactly. No, it was amazing.
Yeah.
I got a chance to experience the hot springs and all the, the minerals in the water. I felt healed and met some really cool people, ate some great food.
Yeah, in fact, that's the Rio Grande River, right? That runs through. Yeah, that's right.
Correct.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know how I can afford this trip. I don't know how I'm going to get a van to live in. I don't know how this is going to happen. I got it in 1 month. I converted it in 7 days. And that was with my neighbor, who I've never spoken to.
So you just kind of woke up one day and you're like, I'm going to van life it.
Yeah, I mean, when I got the divorce, I was like, I'm not really sure what to do at this point. I don't want to share my house with someone, who I don't want to be with physically. That's just cruel for me to do that, to be here, after asking for a separation. So I was like, I got to go somewhere, but where do I go?
And you left your career and everything?
Yeah, I left everything.
Wow.
So even my personal belongings, I left them there in the house.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And I took what I needed in my van. And I was just like, how can I afford this? And then I got the idea. They're like, Tanisha, and these are, the universe, God, whatever. They're like, Tanisha, that you've gotten really spiritual. So why don't you start helping people in that way?
And so tell me about how did you find that land? I guess you found it on a website.
Yeah, random website, landwatch.com. We see the ads all the time. I was a little worried about that because, when you find something that's a really commercialized website, you're like, is this ad even true? Is it a scam?
Well, there are a lot of scams.
There's so many scams.
People sell property that doesn't belong to them. And that was that was a concern we had.
Yeah.
Because this guy is calling, I'm talking to him from Connecticut, who has a bank account in Colorado. The whole thing seemed really shady, but he had the deed, and so
yeah.
And now the deed's recorded in our name.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it took a little while, but so you went through it. You saw it on landwatch.com.
Right. Yeah. And then so my biggest concern with that was, did the land look exactly what it looked like in the photos? Yeah. Because the photos, they'll take it from another road and then they won't point out that the land's actually all the way over there in the photo, but all you see is like the really nice part of the property. So I was a little worried about that, and I was like, I have to go check it out anyway. Like, who buys land and not go actually see it at some point, know? So I did that. I went in the summer, and I was happy for the most part. I realized there was no actual access point to the land itself, just to the dirt road that was built to the land, to the property. I mean, so the challenge for me right now is actually creating an access point that's 0.5 miles, which is, the distance from the main road that I was just referring to drive onto the property. So technically I can drive on it now. As you can see, like the shrubs are really low. It's not that big of a deal. It actually helps keep the traction on the tires. But the more you drive on it, the more those scrubs are going to disappear and the more you're touching the dirt and the sand.
That's right.
So that's my biggest worry.
Yeah, you actually have to take the top layer of the topsoil off so that you're down to the
clay.
the clay and
Yeah.
whatever it's called, but caliche or whatever they call that. But it's below the topsoil, and so you're going to have to scrape.
Yeah.
Probably a few inches, 6 inches down or so to get rid of that. So
6
then you're,
inches.
Yeah, and then you're on the hard road, and then that hard road is like concrete. It's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, that's good news, definitely. I mean, at this point, I don't have a 4x4, so I just try to keep it safe. And I've had people drive out there with me in their trucks just to kind of like give me some ideas of how much it's going to cost to get the road graded. And I've gotten anywhere from $20,000 all the way down to, I think the cheapest was $65 an hour, which would be like $1,500, to get it done. So I'm working with that person starting the beginning of December. And then from there, what I'm going to do is just start trying to get used to being there. I don't want to say, I'll say I want to get used to being in the area and sleeping there by myself, basically, without, someone with me.
Yeah,
that's the hard part in the middle. Yeah.
And that's part of the like when you go out and you buy land that's so open,
remote
out here. Part of that is realizing that, you're alone here. Something happens, right? There's no police station close. There's no fire station close. And so you just have to realize the fact that, this is remote living. This is still the Wild West out here. And you just kind of got to get past that. And
that's the truth. Yeah, I won't be going outside for a while, for sure. Like, some people are like, what do you do in your van? You do the same thing in your van. I was like, yeah, but I'm also like, I park in places where there's still people in the distance, at least. There's still cars passing, not too often, but there's still something. In the middle of like here, if anything's on my property or rubbing against my door or my walls of my cabin, it's probably either an alien, it's either some sort of wildlife. Yeah. And the scariest is a human. Yeah, right. Because why are you out here? Yeah. Like, what are you doing on my property? Obviously, you're not coming by to say hi. Why'd you wait until 10 o'clock?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. You got to get used to the noises. Yeah. You just got to get used to that stuff.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's an alien and not a human, because I feel like humans are scarier than aliens, but anyways.
Well, if it's ET, he's friendly, right?
Well,
but if it's like Predator, that's another issue.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, you're right. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
God. So my goal basically is to make sure I can defend myself at the end of the day. Yeah. Make sure I have the security that I need. I won't be leaving. I won't be literally taking a foot outside until I'm used to the darkness, because as you know, when the sun goes down, it's pitch black. There is nothing, and all you have are the stars and the moon, and that's pretty much it. But yeah, I mean, honestly, I didn't buy the land to buy it, feel great about buying it, and then be too afraid to stay on it. So my goal is to gain the courage, to set up and just kind of like be used to the land and take my shoes off and put my feet in the ground and just kind of ground myself on it and just, become one with the land, I guess I would say.
That's awesome. It'll happen.
Yeah.
It'll happen. All right. Tell my viewers your YouTube page.
Oh, so you can find me on any social media site, and that's Dreamwalker, at Dreamwalker Tanisha, Tenesha. Again, that's Dreamwalker Tanisha. And that's TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. I post pretty frequently, and I'm planning on posting my entire process, including when I start building an earthen home, aka Adobe, aka Cob House. Not sure what I'm going to call it yet. So.
Yeah, nice. Earth homes, yeah.
Earth homes.
They're popular, and they stay cool in the summer.
Yes.
Warm in the winter.
Yes, they do.
No, I'm excited for you, and it's cool to know another person.